Hello, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending when you are. My name is Mahle Tayele. I am your host here at Connect Africa. So tonight we are here to unfold how the coup in Benin has been foiled. Uh, in West Africa, since 2020, there are about 9 coups that happened, but it's the only one that was able to foil this coup, that is Benin. So, how did it manage to foil this coup? Where was the president, President Patrice Talon, when the coup happened, which stayed actually for about 12 hours? So, answering these questions will lead us to the answer how Benin managed to foil this coup. So it was on 7th of December, on Sunday morning, that the military of about a dozen of them came on the national TV of Benin's Republic, and they have announced that they have taken power, and they didn't say anything where the president is, except that they said they have taken power and everything will resume business, as usual. Then, after 12 hours, the Minister of Interior of Benin came on a national television again and announced that the coup has been foiled. The president is in a safe place, and for telling the Beninese people to continue business as usual. Okay, now in those 12 hours, what happened there will lead us to the question how to answer how Benin managed to foil this coup. Look, now, first of all, I want to play a video for you what these dozens of military have said when they announced the coup.
En ce jour, dimanche 7 décembre 2025, nous, forces de défense et de sécurité, après une réflexion bien mûrie et pour donner un repère à notre pays, avons décidé de prendre nos responsabilités suite aux multiples dérives du gouvernement de M. Patrice Talon. Il s'agit de, sur le plan sécuritaire, la dégradation continue de la situation sécuritaire au nord du Bénin. L'ignorance et la négligence de la situation de nos frères d'armes tombés au front et surtout celle de leurs familles abandonnées à leur trésor par la politique de M. Patrice Talon, malgré les multiples promesses relayées en grande pompe sur les médias. Le comité militaire pour la refondation CMR a décidé 1. La constitution du novembre 2025 est suspendue. Toutes les institutions sont dissoutes. Les activités des partis politiques suspendues jusqu'à nouvel ordre. Les frontières terrestres, maritimes, aériennes du Bénin sont fermées jusqu'à nouvel ordre. La prise du pouvoir en ce moment traduit la ferme volonté du comité militaire de la refondation à mettre fin à l'exclusion de toutes les couches sociales de notre pays sans distinction aucune dans la suite de la transition et de restaurer la cohésion nationale. À la communauté internationale, le comité militaire de la refondation rassure que les engagements internationaux du Bénin ainsi que les droits humains seront respectés. Enfin, l'armée s'engage solennellement à donner au peuple béninois l'espoir d'une aube véritablement nouvelle où il règne la fraternité, la justice et le travail, symbole de notre unité nationale. Vive l'armée, vive la refondation de notre chère patrie, vive le Bénin, la République ou la mort, le peuple d'abord.
Okay, so that was the announcement of the military taking power from the government. Now, let's go, before we even judge whether this coup was like that of the Sahel states, whether it was a revolutionary one or anything. We cannot say anything because it was just there for 12 hours. But as you heard him, he gave some hope for the people of Benin. Anyway, now on Sunday around noon time, this was what we read from the tweet, the post of President Emmanuel Macron on X platform. And I'm going to share that with you. So this is how how I am going to answer how the Benin managed to foil this coup. Okay, so let's read it together. Look, this is what Emmanuel Macron posted. I spoke with President Tinubu of Nigeria. I conveyed France's solidarity in the face of the various security challenges, particularly the terror threat in the north. At his request, this is very important, at his request, we will strengthen our partnership with the authorities and our support for the affected populations. We call on all our partners to step up their engagement. No one can remain a spectator, okay? At his request, look at, and I spoke with President Bola Tinubu. Now, what was that phone conversation? Right after that, what happened is there was the airspace of Benin was breached by the Air Force of the jets of Nigerians military, and they were flying over the Benin airspace on the capital in Cotonou, and also there were ground troops immediately deployed. So this happened in the name of like securing the safety of Nigerians, that as if the coup what happened in Benin will cause some kind of chaos or security problem to Nigeria. That is one reason they gave or justification. And the second one was for humanitarian purpose. Okay, this is what Tinubu's administration did not mention anything of the phone conversation with Macron whatsoever. It was from Macron that we read that. And then right after that, actually immediately, so as per the reports that were coming out from Benin, the Nigerian jets were flying over the sky of Benin. Okay, now this is what happened. The question is, where was the other question that we have to ask is that where was President Patrice Talon at that time? President Patrice Talon was in French embassy for his safety in Cotonou, in the capital, not in his presidential palace. He was in French embassy. It was after 12 hours. He came out. It was not even him. Then it was the Minister of Interior that announced the coup has been foiled. So Nigeria's act to fly over in this airspace of Benin has caused a lot of questions, even from the analysis of Nigerian political analysis. First of all, where did he got the permission? Did he consult the military of Nigeria? Did he even got the permission of Nigerian people? Did he got this permission, a green light from ECOWAS? Did he get a green light from African Union? It all seems that he did this independently, and this is some questions that he needs to answer. Also, there are the articles in the constitution of ECOWAS does not fully support what Bola Tinubu did. I mean, normally, even when those the coup, when it happened, the coup that happened in Niger, that was the last from the Sahel states in 2023, immediately leaders have to, or these political rulers of the region have to gather and make a decision. So this was in less than an hour after President Macron posted that on X, then the Nigerian jets were flying over the sky of Benin, okay, in the airspace of Benin. So you cannot call this coincidental. And then the deposed president of Benin for 12 hours was hiding in French embassy for that 12 hours. So who gives the permission for Bola Tinubu to intervene in the affairs of a neighboring country? Does he have the permission of the Beninese people? Did they call him for help? What was his ground? Except he was obeying and serving as an errand boy for an instruction that he received from the previous colonial power of Benin. French government has its own interest with Benin, and that is mainly, it's not economic or anything, it's a security interest. I mean, let me break it to you. Benin is a country that the Alliance of the Sahel States have been complaining for that country or for the government allying with their previous colonial power with the French government to destabilize the Sahel states, that is namely Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Captain Ibrahim Traore have talked about this so many times. General Assimi Goita have talked about this so many times, and also Colonel Assimi Goita and then General Abdurrahman Tihiyani of Niger as well. All of them have mentioned the accomplice of Benin with French government to sabotage this alliance in the Sahel states. I mean, not only that, Benin is a country actually that, after a 2,000 something kilometer of oil pipeline have been built from Niger to Benin, because Niger don't have a port. I mean, all these three countries are landlocked. After all that investment have been made, when finally the day of transportation, Benin has closed its borders, blaming it on some kind of thing. This is how even the government, Patrice Talon administration, has managed to sabotage economically the Sahel states. Okay, now Captain Ibrahim Traore said also they have evidence that the terrorists that are now fighting against this government in the Sahel states are sponsored by the French government and their French allies as well. And the expelled troops actually from Mali, the French military troops, the French troops that have been expelled from Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso did not go back to France. Most of them, they have got another space, which is Benin is hosting them. And they provide training to the terrorist groups in there. So this is what the Sahel states have been complaining. So it's not really coincidental. So this was foiled. This coup was foiled through its former colonial power French government in collaboration with Nigeria's accomplice, Nigeria being an accomplice to this mission. Bola Tinubu was also is a president, that actually gathered immediately when the coup in Niger happened back in July 2023, and brought the idea of military intervention through, of course, the support of the French government. So this is not really coincidental, but how the headlines are running in Benin and other Western media is that loyalist troops, loyalist army of Benin has managed to foil the coup. Well, there are some voids that also those military groups that took over for that few hours did not do in a way that a coup should have been done. Now, I'm not really totally supporting the coup has to be there, but the thing is that there are things that led, this was months in the making, okay? There are reasons what led to this military coup. Now, besides Nigeria's Air Force intervention in this matter, and also French government's post on that, and he put it on Tinubu. He says, as I read it for you, at his request, that is at Bola Tinubu's request, we will support everything. Okay, that is his word. So the void, there are some voids also from the groups that took over for 12 hours, because the only government institution that they were able to control was the TV station, the headquarters of the TV station. Other than that, they did not fully capture the capital city, Cotonou. They did not capture also the presidential palace. They did not capture the headquarters of the military and other, like the airports, every time what we see when a coup happens. So this kind of institution did not, they did not capture this institution. So that also has contributed to this. But now I would like to answer to the question, what led to the coup, because you really have to get some background. Now, what led to the coup is back, was it in November? Yeah, in November, just last month, President Patrice Talon, first of all, when he came to power as a president in Benin, he promised, most of African political rulers, they put 2 terms to be a president, and then they amend the constitution. But Patrice Talon exceptionally came for 1 term, and then he amended it to a 2nd term. Then he wanted to amend it to the 3rd term, but there was an opposition. So what he did was he prepared his own successor, who is a finance minister at this time. They both belong in the same political party, and he excluded the main opposition political party from running into the upcoming election, which is April 2026. Okay, so basically it's just Patrice Talon and his I call him patron. By the way, that's a very coined word of me, but unintentionally. Okay. So Patrice Talon has prepared, he groomed his successor without any opposition. So this is why you heard the military saying for the constitution to go back to its place where it was. And also, another thing, what they have amended is that from 5 years, they amended it to 7 years for a president, for 1 term. What is that? Okay. This is what led, and there are, of course, some other economical discontent, and also Benin being an accomplice, working with the French government to sabotage the alliance of the Sahel states. This is not what the people of Benin want. So it is months in the making that led this to this coup. So based on those voids, those failures from the troops or the military that took over power for 12 hours, not being able to control main government institutions, and led by also mainly Bola Tinubu's intervention into this matter with the support of Emmanuel Macron, that this is how Benin was able to foil the coup. It's not because they were stronger than or others, because a coup happened in a number of countries in West Africa. I think since 2020, about 9 of them, and those 3 countries are exceptional: Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. As what happened there is a revolutionary one. Of course, France, if you ask why France is doing this, France cannot afford losing Benin. This is where they train on the ground terrorists that go and fight the government of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. This is Benin is their right hand right now in the Sahel. Well, other questions what we can ask is that, I mean, we have seen ECOWAS and the African Union immediately issuing statements and opposing, using the strongest terms and this and that. But, you know, ECOWAS, this is really a double standard. You have been quiet when Patrice Talon committed a coup against the constitution of the government, the constitution of the people of Benin. But now you speak when a coup happened, when the military decided to take over matters or affairs in their hands, to prevent the coup that happened before that, again, manipulation of the constitution. This is what it led to it. But again, I don't think we should expect anything better from ECOWAS or the African Union, but we should expose their double standardness in this matter. Well, as we go, I think before I leave you, I want to ask, where do you stand in this? I mean, do you think the coup should have been able? That was the best thing for the people of Benin? Do you think it was just the loyal, as they call them, the loyalists, the loyal army of the Benin government that was able to thwart the coup, or is it really the hand of the French government, through Bola Tinubu's, of course, cooperation? Well, let us know in the comment section. And we will bring you more when we know more about this. The whereabouts of those the military officers who took over power for that 12 hours. The one who announced it, you saw on television, he fled the country, but the others are under arrest. That's what the government of Benin said. Yeah. Greetings, Osie. Nigeria must stop interfering in the domestic app. Well, it is interfering, and I tell you why. It's because Nigeria fears what happened in Benin will come next door. It's definitely a target. If the Benin coup was successful, it will happen also in Nigeria. So it should somehow show it is military and its ability with the alliance of these colonial powers, what it can do. It's definitely answering to the discontent of Nigerians at home, what it did in Benin. I think at large, that was the reason. I mean, we all know how Nigerians are unhappy with Bola Tinubu, how basically through fraud, this Bola Tinubu came to power. So that is the reason. Now, Osie also said coups are strictly internal affairs and foreign power should stay out of it. Well, see what Macron just posted and how they did not even go to other ECOWAS members. I think Bola Tinubu knows what kind of response he will get from ECOWAS members. This is really sad. Anyway, that was it for now, but thank you very much for tuning in. Please share the video if you find it informative enough. Give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that so far. This was Mahle Tayele, your host at Connect Africa, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.